Good morning, everyone. I'm just leaving Hot Mountain Shelter. Have no clue how far I'm going today. I need to do, if I'm going to make Neil's Gap in 3 days, I really need to do at least 11 or 12 miles. And I put in a plan for 16, but that's unrealistic. That's not going to happen. If it was all downhill or all level, probably, but it's not. So, it's going to have to see what we got. It's early in the morning. It's probably around 7:45 that I'm getting out of camp. So, I got plenty of hours in the day to get where I need to go. Okay, sorry about that. Had a bug on me. Cool. These are newly built stairs. I think we're going to find a lot of newly built stuff out here after Helene. I'll tell you what, I put on my pack this morning. I'm like, what the hell? Did somebody come load some rocks in this thing last night? Man, it feels heavy today. That's just my body saying, what are you doing? There were probably, I don't know, I'm guessing 20 to 25 people at that shelter last night. A lot more than I expected. Probably half or more are section hikers, which technically is sort of kind of what I am, since I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going down fairly steep downhill right now, about staircase level. You can see the rocks, the roots, reaching up, trying to drag me down. It is nice having a downhill to start the day, even though it's already hot. You know, yesterday I started out, it was 53, 54 degrees, and it worked its way up into the low 80s, which was hot. This morning, it's already 65 degrees out here. I don't know how hot it's going to get today. I think it's going to be back up in the upper 70s, low 80s again. And then tomorrow it starts to cool off a little bit, I believe. Which I'm looking forward to. I'd much rather hike in the cold than the hot, especially right now. The wind last night was huffing and puffing. Oh man. It's pretty wild. I kept waking me up without seeing the trees moving and whatnot. I'm guessing the wind was probably howling at least 30, 35 mile an hour and some bigger gusts every now and again. I kept waiting for some of these trees to come down. Not a fun situation when you're sitting in your tent or laying in your tent trying to sleep and you're listening to the wind howling out there and nothing you can do about a tree. And the bad thing is this time of year, because there's no leaves on any tree, you can't tell the ones that are dead, the ones that are not dead. So it makes for an exciting evening. Second thing about that wind is that it blew a ton of leaves under my vestibule. And all throughout the night, it just sounded like critters were chewing on my tent. And a little something else to add to your anxiety while you're trying to sleep. But the good thing is, when I woke up this morning, I saw that it was just leaves that were blowing up against my tent and making that ungodly noise. I'm going to put this away for a little bit just so I can use my trekking poles, because going down this, it's not quite so steep right now, but be glad when the first hour is over and this pack doesn't feel quite so heavy. And I did add a little bit of weight to it this morning because we're going through a 6 mile section here that I was hoping to do yesterday, but we're going through the 6 mile section that has no water. So you got what you got. So I've got my 2 full bottles, 700 milliliter bottles of water, and I've got probably another liter, maybe a little bit more in my CNOC, just in case. Now, as I get closer to the water source and I see that I'm going to have plenty of water, or hopefully, then I'll dump that water or give it to somebody else who might need it. But all right, let me put this down. Ooh. Well, take it back. This would be the last water source for the next 6 miles. That's interesting. It looks like somebody just dug this out. Wow, okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna put this way. I'm about 3 miles in for the day. And this is what I gotta climb next. All right. Now, we're not climbing up that wall, but we... Day 2 out here. 3 miles in, I'm dying. It takes a while for the body to acclimate to this stuff. Usually the first 2-3 days, I think I mentioned before, are your roughest days out here. Just getting used to this stuff. This is not stuff you experience in your day-to-day life. Okay, that's as far as I can go without my trekking poles. That's level. And yeah, but all right. I've come 5.5 miles. Had to go over the biggest, steepest mountain that I've had to go over so far. And of course, I know that that's not the steepest that's coming up, but it was a tough climb. It took me probably an hour to go about 1.25 miles uphill. The cool thing is that when I crossed over the top and I came back down to a trailhead, back to the bottom of that particular mountain, there was trail magic waiting. There was a couple of couples from southern Georgia that drove 6 hours up here just to provide trail magic for the hikers for a day. That's pretty damn cool. You know, again, my mind, who does that? Who does that? What's your purpose? You know, I think a lot of this trail magic, not all of it, but a lot of it, especially folks like these, it's a religious thing for them. They're doing good deeds, and I appreciate that so much. I didn't get into a lot of detail with them, but they gave me a little brochure that was religious in nature. I'll read it tonight. As you guys know, I'm not a religious person, but I'll show them the respect that they deserve, which is a great deal of respect for doing what they're doing. But I'll take their generosity for what it's worth, which is a lot, and enjoy it. I had a bologna and ham sandwich with some cheese on it and lettuce and Dr. Pepper, and I got to sit in a chair with a back, which is cool out here, and chatted with them for about 15-20 minutes, and yeah, it was good. I love me some trail magic. I love me some trail angels. Good folks. Good folks. I'll just let it go at that. But while I was there, some folks finally caught up to me from the shelter. I'm shocked that after 5 miles, they didn't catch me, which means that they're having as hard a time as I am. less than a mile from the tent site that I had planned on hopefully going to yesterday. That obviously didn't happen. So I don't need water, so I don't need to stop there. I've already pretty much had my lunch, so I think I'll just keep on going. Steady pace. I think I mentioned before, my plan that I've planned so far today is to go 60 miles, and that's just not realistic. That's not going to happen. I will go as far, and let me just say this. The reason I plan out that far is because if you look at those graphs that I put at the end of the video, using those graphs, both the GPS like you see in your car and the graph where it shows your ups and downs, I can look at those as I'm hiking and get an idea of the difficulty of the terrain up ahead, whether it's the next half mile, next mile, whatever. And so if I go out 16, I know that all the information I need will be there at hand when I need it. And at the end of the day, if I don't make it that far, which I'm not going to, I'll modify my plan to what I actually did. So temperature out here right now is about 71 degrees. I sure hope it doesn't get up to the 80s again. There's a good breeze blowing right now, which feels good. Ideally, well, in a perfect world, I make the 16. In Gary's world, I get to 12. That would be ideal. And just even thinking about going 12 makes me anxious, because that's, I'm probably close to 6 miles now. So I'm about halfway to what I really want to do. And I'm tired. I'm sweating bad. The good thing is today I'm drinking a lot more water, even though there was no water between the shelter and where I'm going to here in the next half mile. I carried enough water with me to make it, and that has not been a problem. But I do need to drink more water. Yesterday, when I got to camp, I knew I could tell I had not drank enough water. Within an hour of getting to camp, I was starting to get anyways, I can't even think of the word I'm looking for. My brain is fuzz right now, but I know that right after I got to camp, I went down, filled up my 2 bottles, drank those 2, went down, filled up 2 more, drank those. Oh, I just heard something moving in the woods. What could it be? What could it be? I don't know. But even after drinking 4 700 milliliter bottles of water, by the time I got into my tent, I could tell I was still not hydrated. So today I have to drink more water. I have to drink more water. In 5 miles, I've had 2 full bottles of water and Dr. Pepper, which caffeine, that does me no good. So I need to drink more water to counter that. But, oh man. The rest of the day is, even if I made it to 16, which again is not going to happen, but it's not going to be a horrible day. If you look at the graph, it looks like there's a mountain there that's going to be tough to climb. But when you really look closely at it, it's a long, slow uphill, not so steep. So I'm hoping that I can cruise right through that stuff. Should be coming up to a stream here pretty soon. I hear water up ahead. I know we're close to that tent site. But again, I don't need water right now. And looking ahead, there's plenty of water sources for the rest of the day. So I don't need to worry about that anymore. I have 1.5 bottles right now, so I'm good to go. This is so beautiful. Rhododendrons, mountain laurel. Oh. There's the stream. Looks like we got a good little climb out of there. All right, let me head down. Somewhere around 7 miles, maybe a little over. Had a young Englishman out here. He's just going up to Neal's Gap, but we stopped, took a break together, and chatted for a little bit. Best part of the trail. Meeting the people, talking, getting their story, giving them your story. It's fun. Now, I gotta admit, he has got a very distinct English accent, and he is sometimes difficult to understand, but he understands that we have trouble understanding his accent, and very happy to repeat things. But he's a good kid, 21 years old. He's out here, like I said, he's just out here doing 30 miles, going to Neal's Gap. I did the approach trail, so I guess that's about 39 miles. But he gets done. He's got a few days. He's going to go kayaking and then head back home. Green tunnels, man. These things are just so beautiful. And you walk through them. It's just so serene. think there's a shelter about the 8-mile mark. I'm going to stop there, rest my feet for a little bit, and then try to knock off another 4 or 5 miles. Wow, this just goes on and on. I gotta keep looking behind me. That youngster is going to be catching up to me again here shortly. All right. I need my trekking poles. I've come right at about 9 miles. And I stopped at Gooch Mountain Shelter to take a break. Probably sat there for a good 45 minutes resting, especially my feet. They hurt. But I was there with 2 youngsters. One young man from England who's 21 and another 31-year-old from America, but I don't know his name. The guy from England, his name's Bill. And they're going on to another tent site, which is about 5 miles from the shelter. So that's what I'm going to shoot for. And if I can get there, that puts me easily in distance to get to Neal's Gap tomorrow. It's funny, when I was sitting at Gooch Shelter, I realized that that's the shelter I was at 3 years ago when I got my trail name, Papa Bear. So that was some good memories. Think back to the people that I hiked with back then. Oh, it's uphill, kicking my butt. 5 miles is a long way when you're already tired. You've already done 9. So, but if I can get this 13, 14 miles in today, that would be awesome. Oh. I can't remember. Did I tell you guys that we had trail magic? I can't remember. If I did, I'll edit this out. But we had trail magic, and yeah, I did tell you guys. I remember now. So I'm not going to repeat it. All right. I need my trekking poles. My legs are dead. And I mean dead. So